Reading 3 from my most priceless notebook, an account of a dream I had. Just a dream, and like, I have no other way to tell the dream I had, like fucking a couple years ago, except to like use the actual things and names of the beings and fictional characters that belong to other people, intellectual property rights. I mean, I had a dream of it. I can't say that they were in the dream and the storyline. Come on, bear with me. So anyhow, there's the reading where Mozart is like fucking just getting off the ship in the Jedi fucking like council room. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart was given an audience with the grandest of poobahs, Jedi Master Yoda, for about 7 minutes.
Welcome, Mozart. Fortunate most are you to have been picked, the people from planet of home of yours. Throughout the 17 billion years that our particular universe is verified,
At which point Han and Chewie kind of were like, what the? Because fucking Yoda was talking normally without putting the first word last and whatnot.
throughout the 17 billion years that our particular created and have a beginning developmentally developing universe has been existing and has been verified. Your world, ours, and countless others have been risen in endless historical epochs. Of these races, billions have destroyed themselves, hundreds of millions, like the world in which you stand, however.
Yoda was speaking normally for some reason, I reiterate. And like fucking everybody, the Jedi Knights, the Jedi Padawans in the room at the time were like, hey, why is Yoda talking? Why is Master Yoda talking normal? Odd.
But all of the races of planet-bound, self-consciousness, flesh-encapsulated beings, we all start out similar to the beginnings, like where your Earth history is today. Your race is on the cusp of building machines that can fly like the one you were just in. In just a little over 100 to 200 years from your time, Wolfgang, and 70 years after that, your human race will land upon your moon. 40 years after that, your race will build a machine that can think, and it will calculate things which would take 100 million years of just normal learning, if not for the aid of this machine. This machine will calculate where to find the god tachyon, the Biggs boson hoser particle. And then it will teach you how to build machines inside of ships that can achieve travel interstellar. And it is then that the first humans traveling consciousness with their faster than light will accidentally discover the Force. This is how we discovered it.
Just then, Yoda extended his little green arm and that fucking cane floated into his hand from 50 feet away. Mozart was like, Mozart, being a genius of sound, so much so that it inflamed his wonder about, like, what is existence on an ontological level, like from boyhood, saw that cane float by on a different planet with highly advanced beings, giving some answers to fucking antimonies and timonies of the problems of pure reason to us on Earth. It was breathless to see that cane levitate into fucking the little midget beast's hand. Mozart inquired, Mr. Master, please tell me how you made that cane come to you.
A skill that is learned from discovering the Force. Remember how your mind felt on the ship faster than light? On that dimension, consciousness and matter are more freer and intertwinkled and flexible. Our first space travelers experiencing it faster than light said at 1.47 minutes into the voyage to one of his fellow astronauts, and the cassette recording still exists of the ship, that he wanted to get his journal from the other side of the room the ship was in. Accustomed to normal physics, our first faster-than-light astronauts, accustomed to the normal physics of the sub-tachyonic speeds, without thinking, he was about to get up and walk over to pick it up. But at that moment of thought and intending to get the book, and his intent willed to attain it, the book came towards him. As he saw this, amazed, the book dropped to the floor, because he forgot his intent when he noticed this. As soon as his intent to have the book returned into his hand again, it came right towards him, this time right into his hand. The Jedi Order would be born within a year or two from this single event of like inaugural faster-than-light travel, and the discovery that consciousness is a lot more free, and the mind and matter intertwingle to the point that your intent is much more flexible in causing effects in the physical world. So, where are we? This astronaut and his shipmate experimented with this wondrous ability for days at faster-than-light speed, where consciousness and mind power are amplified already. After 7 days at light speed, they almost physically died. The mortal body at light speed can only survive for about that amount of time before the overmind, the consciousness of the person, starts to become liberated and be pulled into different dimensions of ultimate pure mind, Wolfgang, which the physical body cannot contain.
Okay, I'm gonna translate fucking like Yoda's rah rah rah, because I think I'm starting to damage my vocal cords. One of the astronauts actually, and this is Yoda, remember, without the accent that I'm doing badly. One of the astronauts actually ended up dying. His spirit and pure mind was still available in the ship to communicate his observations to the other astronauts, still attached to their flesh bodies. The surviving soul of this astronaut in the faster-than-light pure mind transmitted newly found observations to his mates, instructing them that they must leave light speed, return to the home planet, and develop new discoveries. Because this post-mortal mind and soul personality, while human, was a strictly scientific, agnostic individual, his experience and influence on his surviving mates had no moral dimension, good or bad. And when the astronauts of similar nature returned to the home planet to announce their findings to people about what happens to consciousness faster than light, soon various people with both good and evil and strictly scientific intentions and then very bad intentions started traveling faster than light. And that's when our age-old struggle was taken to a more dangerous level, which is what leads us, Wolfgang Mozart, to this moment. Evil ambitions of dark lords, which also will exist on your planet someday, around the time that a future individual you will meet in this very book, who is also the one reading the book that he is in, he will be able to tell you that there are dark and evil ambitions that are starting to filter in on your Earth. Well, in our Andromeda galaxy, evil ambition of dark lords whose agenda was born way back when they discovered the dark side of the Force. Evil intent to use the power of omniscience pigs hose out in consciousness. They are up to something so nefarious that they could enslave all the worlds of our galaxy. The threat is so grave that our only option was to break our most unbreakable law. In a last-ditch attempt to escape this evil checkmate we are being put into, from which there may be no return, broken many laws we have. In some way, Mozart, with the great talent you possess, preserve freedom, help us, may someday you and the galaxy.
Would you like to continue this journey?
Mozart accepted, and with that, Han Solo and Chewie, who now understood that Han Solo really was a new Jedi and had a back channel communication outlet to Yoda, he spirited Mozart back onto the Millennium Falcon, attained the faster than light consciousness again, heading back from their native Andromeda galaxy to the Milky Way. They parked above and behind Saturn, the farthest visible moving star, wandering star, observable way back in Mozart's time, and sparked up the warp bong again. Soon they were all laughing hysterically and uncontrollably. Chewie barked to the effect, "Okay, it's my turn to pick someone. Like, I want Spicoli from that movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High we saw in the Falcon room a couple years ago. Fucking Spicoli. We'll get him in time travel back to a planet of ancient cavemen, and he'll be a Spicoli-like savior of their race, teaching them the ways of salvation through cool waves and tasty buds." And before he's killed, Solo, this is translation of Chewie growling while stoned. Before he's killed by the ancient established rulers of whatever planet, we'll pick him up, then use the lightspeed drive to go a couple thousand years forward on that planet's like fucking history, and we'll fucking come down and it'll be the second coming of Spicoli, man. That's prank house yoga. Han said to Mozart, "Go into the theater, Wolfie, and watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High. The screen will just play for you as soon as you get in there. You need to see it to show you what's going on while we work out the details in here about how to pull this off, okay?" Mozart then watched the movie, and then in that movie room on the Millennium Falcon, the highly advanced computer in that room had total nano synaptic machine chip interface with every synapse in Mozart's brain, apparently, because the enhanced cannabis molecules were somehow tooled into the mainframe of the Falcon's like singularity achieving absolute artificial machine computer superconsciousness. So this screen is interacting with shit that he totally forgot about in his own brain, still stored up there from ever. Like fucking, and like preceding his like interest as he watches the screen unfold with shit, showing him as a kid, like fucking with a montage, introductory montage as a preview of things to come before he has to sit there and watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And fucking, it's anticipating like where his curiosity and his thought process is going. Oh, that's what happened to grandmother's ring in the Anschluss. It was put underneath the thing, and the fucking a boar died on it in the forest, and that's where it is. Like actual footage of memories he's had since 5 years old, and like, and the screen, which has interface with a synaptic connection through the computer's singularity, like fucking technological super consciousness attaining computer. It's like fucking like leading him on a spontaneous documentary that's interacting with his curiosity just before it occurs to him. He's like spellbound, basically. Freaking. So anyhow, the highly advanced computer in that room had a total nano interface with every synapse in Mozart's brain, and instantaneously produced a video documentary that answered every curious thought and question in his mind as it occurred to him. He learned about music history, future history to him. In rapt, awestruck attention, he learned about Beethoven, George Gershwin's music. Music twisted his mind into pieces. The blues, jazz, rock. He saw little bits of the Beatles. He also saw Falco's video, Amadeus, Amadeus, only in this version in the video, when it's like, in 1789, Mozart wrote the Magic Flute. In this one, Falco in the video is like, and then after a soiree in the Bavarian Alps, he was never seen or heard from again. He's like, Amadeus, Amadeus, oh, 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 Amadeus. He fucking saw other things on this fucking interactive, like, fucking supercomputer screen fucking interface. He saw the Industrial Revolution, World War II, the 60s, etc. Then, if you could believe it, he watched the Star Wars trilogy and then, dumbfounded, watched a documentary about its making. And then watched this actual video, which is going to get odd around the time where it gets to, like, as I was writing this, Gary Archer, I went back to my friend Steve's house and I could hear on the static of his, like, fucking radio that gets, like, airline fucking transmissions, CB shit, like, I could hear John Lennon, picking him up too in this story, say, Gary, it's us in the radio, look out Steve's window. Eventually, I'm in the story. But anyhow, back here when Mozart's in the fucking viewing room, he also watched this, if you can believe it. This is like breaking 14 fourth walls, like going into the transcendental ego, the awareness of being aware, the awareness of being aware of being aware, being sorry for being sorry, being sorry for being sorry for being sorry, etc. You know what I mean? The mirror looking at the mirror, the nature of consciousness. And now that we've traveled into faster than light speeds and seeing how it affects consciousness, releasing it into an almost mystical, omniscient remembering of what was happening before you were born kind of consciousness, and discovery that intent at that level fucking can cause reactions that have never been seen in the normal physics universe of normal speed fucking shit like this room or wherever you are reading. That intent can cause, oh, I want, hey, where's that book that I wanted? I want to write down something in that purple pen I just got. Whoa, it flew into my hand. They discovered the force, fucking then, like, dickheads and dickwads discovered it too and used the singularity, fucking superconscious, like, fucking infinitely fucking, like, insightful computer being to, like, teach it how to make stuff for good and for evil. Like, fucking the whole shit was started in that way. Fucking so while he was doing this, actually this will be the next video, this one's really bad. Like, while he was doing that, and like fucking Han was like had to do something else with piloting this ship, fucking Chewbacca was getting horny. And sure enough, 3 seconds later, from behind him, a furry Wookiee, a dirty female fucking sex slut pig, barked at him from the orgy room of the Millennium Falcon. Yes, the machine that like became self-aware did all possible future technological calculations in artificial intelligence super second. Also figure out a way how to fucking suck atoms out of the fucking air and make your fantasy dream girls that of course it knows exactly what they look like, even the ones you used to dream about when you were a wee one that you don't even remember, like fucking, because it's like interfaced on a nano fucking chip, fucking nano tachyon level with the cannabis things they've been smoking all day that hooks into the computer. It knows exactly what you like. So as soon as he got horny, he heard from behind him beckoning from the orgy room that's made for that purpose on the Falcon, that George Lucas doesn't want you to know about. This furry fucking sex female Wookiee pig fucking barked at him, beckoning him into a room that he was strictly forbidden from, because like it's just a furry fucking animal with lots of smells and fluids. Anyhow, while he was doing this, Chewbacca was getting horny, and sure enough, 3 seconds later, a furry Wookiee, a dirty fucking sexy Wookiee sex pig female, barked at him from the orgy room. There were unkempt appendages and slimy tongues oozing into unspeakable orifices, with endless long bedraggled strands of disgusting fucking brown fur every which fucking way but loose. The female Wookiee then stood up and pulled the long, matted waterfall mullet of fur that began growing around her shoulders, which grew down to about her navel, draped it up over her shoulders to reveal a pair of mind-blowing tits that would impress all the young, red-blooded males of the human beings of Earth. Like, if you saw this fucking cloned and produced by a supercomputer dream girl, that fucking dream Wookiee chick that fucking uh, Chewbacca dreamed about once when he was like 1,500 years old, which is his teenage years. And like he's just remember, oh, that's what she looked like. And he's not allowed in there because it fucks everything up with the methane queefs and whatnot. Anyhow, if you saw the long, bedraggled, matted brown fur that began here and covers her front end, and she drapes it up to reveal this pair of tits that would make you freak out, man. Like, holy shit, look at the tits on that fucking, Wookiee. Anyhow, the female Wookiee then stood up over and took the long, matted waterfall mullet of fur that ended around her navel and draped it over her shoulders to reveal a pair of mind-blowing tits, pristine, creamy, soft. Don't even get me started describing her Wakonga donka butt. Chewbacca, mesmerized by the smooth as a baby's butt, perfect tits and chest, laid the female Wookiee slut, whore, pig, cum dumpster. Boot, fucking, doot. Oh shit, the fucking edit beep out the obscenities is broken. Beep, fucking, so when fucking Chewie, mesmerized by the smooth as a baby's butt, perfect tits and chest, laid her on her back on the sofa and slobbered all over her tits, grunting and barking, howling in ways that were just embarrassing to hear. While he stuck that big, clunky looking fucking dork ball Ebenezer fucking Wookiee, big clunky looking Uncle Wookiee thumb into her perfectly maintained and hairless dingle anus. You've never seen an eruption of semen until you've seen a Wookiee male gushing a gallon or two in one hot shot. It's a hot mess, man. With all that fucking hair and whatnot. At this point, if you were there and could see, you'd see, like, panic in the rodents that, like, from birth infest Wookiee skin. Like, if you're in that, they're jumping off of him, and he's, like, up there fingering her on the love seat. They're fucking jumping off, scurrying away for dear life because they're so horrified and grossed out. See a trail of, like, fucking fleas en masse, and they're big, tall, fucking mangy fucking beings, Wookiees. You look, and there is clearly a mass exodus of like a quadrillion fleas fucking beelining it out of the orgy room, getting off the host that they're fucking like have been parasites on. The mice jumping out like World Trade Center jumpers, man, like whoosh, and then like with complete terror that only a mouse will have when it like fucking it makes a mistake by turning a corner and sees a human, like ah, hopping off, man, like fucking dude, crazy. The maggots and the flies that fucking are always like cavorting around Wookiee fur and stench couldn't even take it. They're like out of here. Fucking when the Wookiee Sheilas started to achieve the big fucking O, forget it, man. Han Solo caught a whiff of it, starts puking in the cockpit. Yoda, way back in the galaxy, a long way away, the Andromeda Galaxy, is like back in that council room retching as they're like on another planet by the Force, you know what I mean? You get the Force. Han gets a catch of the stench coming from the orgy room to the cockpit. He's like, the mice, the rodents, the fleas are fucking fleeing in complete terror because like fucking it's just like filth, man. Fucking Yoda, psychic, clairvoyant, force, fucking venerable, like Jedi master of masters, is like on a different planet in the council fucking meeting room. Yeah, so when the Wookiee Sheila achieves the big fucking O, Solo's puking his brains out, she's queefing, Chewie's still blowing gallons of semen, so turned on, in fact, that he can't help but fucking fart that distinctive kind of fart you get sometimes when you're like maybe sniffing amyl nitrate poppers. and like fucking watching some really awesome hot pig sex. Just as you come, you lose control of yourself and you pop off a few distinctive sounding burst flaps, man, in the midst of orgasm, like every total pig lust release. They call it the flitch. The flitch. Anyhow, we gotta wrap this one up and get to the next installment. It's around this moment, like, that the place was stunk to high hell. Paint was peeling off the walls. The fucking, like, hologram chessboard pieces in the game rooms thing are fucking, fuck this. We gotta get out of here. We're holograms, though. It doesn't matter. Let's get the fuck. That's disgusting. Ugh. Horrifying. Fucking Yoda's puking on another planet. Fucking. It's around that moment that the Millennium Falcon's lightspeed drive and its computer drive were even so disgusted that they start malfunctioning, go on the fritz, and everything shuts off. They fall out of fucking light speed. The Wookiee woman melts into a vile compost. He's busted in the room he's not allowed in it again. Everything goes pitch black. They fall out of light speed, and they're like fucking... That's why the fucking Millennium Falcon's always like shit in the bed, especially in The Empire Strikes Back. When you see him trying to fix it, it's always like fucking clunking along like a fucking lemon death trap. It's because of this Wookiee filth sex that is strictly forbidden that sometimes he just can't help himself. He gets so fucking into it and horny, he's like fucking can't stop. Anyhow, Chewbacca felt ashamed again, and that's why the Millennium Falcon is always portrayed as a death trap that's always clunking along barely and breaking down. It's when Chewbacca lets loose with his lust. Wookiee love is filth, which needs the windy open air of his home planet to spread and dissipate the sheer funk.